Welcome to the Great Awakening Show. I am Joanne-Divine Life Yogini, and on this week's show, we have Harry Thomas, or Harry the Soul Coach. Harry was in the fitness industry since 2007. His current journey began when he graduated in 2019 as a coach, and it became magical when he started working with people at the end of life. People who have been told they are going to die only speak truth, their truth. This made him take action to hold a mirror and face his own truths and discover his soul. Harry says we can connect at the soul level, the foundation, our truth. If we understand death, we would be excited every day about living. Harry has also been uncovering the truth about the world we live in and the lies we have been told. Thank you for being back on the Great Awakening Show, because this is such a pivotal time. It's just really, really ramping up now. It's like, buckle up, because it really is. And you can feel the energy. I can feel it. It's getting really exciting, the energy, So let's just get to it, because I know that you've just got so much wonderful truth to tell us. Harry, tell us about what is happening in this Great Awakening now, about the World Cup, and about the biggest sting operation this world has ever seen.
Yeah, we're really close. So the last few years are like, when's it happening? I've been waiting for so long. God, when's something going to be done? Just know that the end game for me and for many people now are starting to see it has to be on Sunday of announcement, or something big's going to happen. And the World Cup final,
is that on the World Cup, the 18th of December?
The 18th of December. And the thing is, no one really is talking about the World Cup, because if you're paying attention to the awakening, we don't get involved with politics now that's in football, and there's kind of like been this divide, whereas most of the people that are watching the World Cup, a majority of them are going to be the normies. It's the most televised event in the whole world.
Yeah.
The last World Cup had over 4 billion unique viewers watching it, which is half the world's population. And amazing. You mentioned it's the World Cup as well. It's never been in. So it started in November, and the World Cup final was on the 18th of December. It's never been at this time of year ever in the history of the football. And it's the most televised event, as I said. So the world's going to be watching. Also, the world have all gone through their own internal problems and you hear the same things like election fraud, corruption, media manipulation.
In every country, yeah.
So in every country, and you're seeing, like, for example, the other day in Peru, you saw the president got taken out and they installed someone else. Yes. And the people are going absolutely mental already.
Yes.
So it's priming us now. So what will happen is that there's something called the RICO Act. I think I mentioned it last time in that documentary, Fear City. And Charlie Freak was the one that brought the way it was all done to take up the mafia and the FBI. As soon as I saw that, then it makes sense of how to explain this to the whole world. Is you arrest everyone in one go, and you do it whilst everyone's watching the TV screen with the football match. So suggestion has it, and we're trying to play around with, like, what could it be? If they say it's a scare event, imagine the scare event is that they stop the football.
Yes.
That would get everyone's attention. So rather than let the football play out, why don't we just stop the football now? Like, this is important. And the thing is, Euros because of COVID, we stopped the Olympic Games because of COVID. So if we need to wake the world up, surely it makes... So there's potential, and this is the beauty of it now. We've won this war already. We just don't know exactly how it's all going to come together. However, if you're going to connect the world, you do it at the only opportunity you get is at the World Cup. And the other thing that people, if you say, oh, it's a bit of a coincidence, if you go to the next World Cup, Donald Trump managed to orchestrate that from the start to the finish. So the next World Cup in 2026 in North America, which is labelled, it's America, Canada and Mexico. And Donald Trump orchestrated all of that, and it didn't really get announced or anything. And so Donald Trump's got a definitely involvement with FIFA. We all know he's commander-in-chief. He's involved with everything. So there's too many synchronicities.
He's involved with, yeah. And he's involved with the alliance and all the good people that are out there in all the countries all around the world, you know, spiritual and physical. You know, this is an alliance to, you know, bring down these evil people once and for all, you know, because, you know, they've been controlling us for so long. This is the time. It really is. So with this World Cup, you know, I mean, you're going to have all the people watching from all the different countries from all around the world. And in their own country, as you said, they've already got all this happening. So when something does, so how do you see this? I mean, we're speculating. We don't really know how this could ever come out, but it's got to be something that is totally shockable. And what a platform to do it on. You know, I know that some of the people we think have died are not really dead. So that is one thing that could maybe, you know, be brought out to show people. But what are some of the other things that could be done?
Well,
I mean,
you've got
yeah.
You got Twitter at the moment as well. So
yes.
This week has been,
yeah.
if you don't think anything's happening, all I'd encourage is just go on Twitter, because every day they're releasing the truth, and why it's so significant now as well. Elon Musk did a tweet the other day and said the World Cup is getting us 20,000 tweets per second. Wow. So you can imagine how that's just for the World Cup. So you can imagine all eyes are on Twitter anyway. World Cup. So now he's just dropping all the truth, and it's coming out more and more. We got COVID to come.
Yep. All about the child
Hunter
trafficking.
Biden laptop to come.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
And it's almost like there's our proof is being dropped to us. So that's showing the people. And if you take Sunday as your end game, you've literally got the worst things to come in terms of exposing. But there's only a few days for people to go, oh my God, that happened. You can't really argue with it. You can't get upset about it, because by the time it gets to the World Cup final, it'd be Hunter Biden, Pizzagate, all that sort of stuff, all there as well. So what they've been arrested for, well, the Brazilian government have been arrested for, there's election fraud, crimes against humanity, human trafficking, media corruption. It's a great way to explain it to everyone too. You can't argue. They've just been arrested, and within that is everything. And that would be every country.
Wow. This is crazy. This is just a worldwide sting, isn't it? That they have, because when, you know, President Trump came into presidency, he went around the whole world, and all of them, you know, they had the security agency had everything. They had everything on all the evil ones, right? Who are in charge of all the countries. So he went round to every single country, and they all capitulated, didn't they? Because of all the information that they've got. So they had to capitulate to the good guys in a way, didn't they? You know, and it's been from then on just exposure after exposure after exposure. But wow, it's going to be shocking, isn't it, for all the people?
It's going to be madness, and that's why it makes sense as well. You don't interrupt the World Cup first of all, because it would really shock the world if you released, oh my God, there is paedophile. Oh my God. So it's just dripping now, where it's the information that will be released. You won't be able to get around it. But also because there's been something done about it this time. Oh my God, the military stepped in, and it's everywhere. All of a sudden, everyone's on the same playing field. And the beauty of the people, and I'm guessing a lot of your audience here as well, we've been doing a lot of work sharing, bringing awareness. That awareness is light. We're bringing the darkness into the light, which people don't want to hear it initially. However, we've set the foundations now. We've set the blueprints, and treat yourself as a lighthouse and have your beacon really shine at this point. Because remember, the lights are going to go out for all of them. However, your light has been on the whole time. Maybe the way that we deliver the message to them, they didn't want to know before. However, something's just happened. You're the lighthouse and the light's on, their darkness, that where do they turn to the light? And then you help them return home.
Yes.
and the beauty of it is that all the crap that we've all received, and the name calling and the hurt, and they're not listening, watch it turn. And this is the beauty of where we are at the moment. All of this will be worth it, all of it. And we can know that, yeah, it was a bumpy ride for 2 years or 3 years, but look what we got ahead of us for thousands of years. So.
Exactly. We got taken down on all the platforms and everything. Yeah. We got our videos taken down, and all of that. But yes. So, but how do you see what I want to talk about? The other countries, yeah. The military is the only way for right, and we can see that. If you take Brazil, Brazil, the people, I mean, that is ridiculous. Lupo, he was a criminal. They brought the criminal in part of all the cartels as well. But, for him to become the president, it's just ridiculous. And that just shows you the people rose up. We're talking millions of people in the streets. They would not back down for 40 days and nights. They were on the street, and and only when the people rise up, only when they do that, can then the military come in and intervene. They cannot intervene any other time, because the military have an oath to the people to protect the people. And when something like that happens with such it's so fraudulent that they have to, the people, they can see it's either civil war, right? Or the military have got to come in and uphold their oath, which is what they're doing. But see, people don't realize it has to come from the people. It can't come from anywhere else.
People, and the thing is that they showed that in a country called Myanmar. Again, I might mention it last time, where the lady, she got done for election fraud. The military come in as a coup, and the media labelled it. Look what they're doing. How disgusting is it? And people obviously are influenced by the media. Then you cause unrest. That lady's inside now for 26 years, and she was linked with Hillary Clinton last time. So the military will step in at the right time. The interesting thing about Brazil, because you can see it's almost like, why are they not stepping in? If Bolsonaro's with the military, because it has to happen all at the same time. But they were mostly expecting to be in the World Cup for longer. Remember, I lived in Brazil last year for 5 months.
Because they're football mad. Yeah, they're really good at football, Brazil.
Yeah. It is religion out there for them. So I went to the World Cup in Brazil in 2016 or 2014. And I went out there then, and it was a national holiday every time Brazil played. So it was just crazy. So now they're out of the World Cup. Now they know the cheating. Bolsonaro had to step in the other day and say, look, I'm with you for the people. I'm here. We are going to do it. And it's almost like we're ahead of steam now. We got to just keep everyone calm for a few more days.
Wow. It's just, and in other countries too. Tell us some of the other countries that this is happening in now. This great awakening.
So Peru, there's all unrest now on the streets as well. So they removed one of the presidents and they installed someone else. And if you just go and search who that is, again, another WEF affiliation. So the people are not having it. So they're prepped. They're good to go. Bangladesh, massive protests in the street the other day for election fraud. We've had Kenya, Sri Lanka, Dan Andrews in Australia. He's
what
not even alive.
Australia?
So like people voted for.
Tell us what happened in Australia.
Oh, so Dan Andrews was voted back in again.
Yes.
The people are watching. That's not even Dan Andrews, and there's a guy called Ricardo Bose who said people effectively voted a dead person to come in.
Wow.
But what people can see again, there's no way that these people would be voted.
No, not after what they've done.
In front. And that's it. And again, even if you don't agree, even if you were on that label or you're Democrat or Republican, you still wouldn't vote for that person because he's awful. In France, we had Macron earlier on in the year where the French went absolutely mental because there's no way they would vote. So Everyone's gone through it. In the UK, if you go to the mayor's office, the mayor's election, Sadiq Khan.
That's ridiculous. Everyone hated him. I don't know how he got back. Well, he got back in because it's cheating. It's election. It's cheating. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then with the recent installation, like they put in a lady, or they put forward Liz Truss that no one heard of, and Rishi Sunak. They put them. None of us wanted them. None of us have asked for them. So they just put them in. One failed above the other one. Okay, if that one failed, let's put the other one underneath that fails. It is mad. I think it's just showing us the people now. Like, none of politics makes sense.
No.
Having a select group of people to run our lives that don't know anything about us,
who are billionaires,
that don't care about us,
exactly,
who have no
make
really
money off of us,
interest in doing. and it's obvious though, and I think that's another thing. This awakening. All these people now, they're not them. Like if you're still getting caught up saying, "Oh, Rishi Sunak's now done this," no, he hasn't. All of that is just to create that reaction from you to maybe shout a bit louder and to wake a few more people up.
Yes.
However, we've already won this, and that. And when you mentioned about Trump going around the world, if anyone says any advice, I'm like, go and watch one documentary, The Bonfire Guy, The Great Awakening, and it's where Charlie Freak actually kind of narrates where Trump got. As soon as you,
that's right, it's just amazing. But I mean, when that happens, how does this play out then? You know, what's the next stage of this? You know, tell us how you see this.
Okay. So on the 18th of December as well, there's been a few signs. So again, as I mentioned, Trump involvement with FIFA, the fact that it's never been the World Cup, it's in the only country beginning with Q, Qatar. And then on the Q post on the 18th of December 2017, there was a post that said clock started 10 days Q. And then we've heard about 10 days of darkness. We've heard about the emergency broadcast system. So the way that I see it out is, whilst all eyes are watching, you can imagine it is every language, every culture watching this. So they're all going to have their own EBS, emergency broadcast system. When these arrests happen, one of the biggest culprits with all of this is the media.
Yes.
Again, in every country with the media, that's the only reason why COVID and this fear is being pushed, because of them. So they will get arrested. So when we talk about a blackout, just think blackout is from the communications of the mainstream, and that will be replaced with emergency broadcast. It's not like
it's
your
not going to be an
internet.
It's not going to be an internet blackout. It's going to be a blackout of the MSM, the mainstream media. Good.
Definitely. Yeah, because I can't. It potentially could be internet blackout, but so many people's lives and health and everything is dependent on that now. And again, if this is awakening where it is damage limitations, you can't rock people's world too much. Then maybe there'll be these big flashes or something. We don't know on there.
Yeah.
But don't think it's going to go back to the days where we got no electricity, we get our candles out and stuff. I know it's snowing over there now, isn't it, in the UK?
It's absolutely freezing. It surely is. But yeah, like you think that, what's going to happen? Everything's going to go down. You've got all them people, who have been storing up for years just at this moment. But and I haven't got my gas. I haven't got my gas heat. I haven't even got my candles, because I know that we are divinely protected, right? I'm a truthful woman, but I just believe in the divine, and God got us so much, and it's just, it's beyond us. As you said, it's already been won. So this movie has to play out to awaken the people. It's the only way. The truth must be told, and it's like, the truth must be told, and the truth must be told in our own lives. We can't be living in a delusional lie, or being with that person that we don't even want to be with, or being in that job that we don't want to be with anymore. This is we're in delusion. This is the time of truth, and it's the time of living our truth and being, that truthful person and coming from our heart. That's where our truth is. All we've got The only thing we can be is our truthful, honest self, our true self, which is our true divine self. And when you come from that place, everything you do and everything you be and everything you think is always going to be successful. It's always going to be really, is going to not hurt people. It's going to be, good and prosperous and righteous and beautiful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And the beauty, what you just said then, is that is a reality. You do get to create it. And being your true self is also not just in terms of what you say, is we're not being true to ourselves sometimes when we don't say anything. And then we sit ourselves in environments where effectively maybe you're overhearing conversation, you just do not resonate at all, but yet you keep yourself there just because you're meant to be there. However, if you had complete freedom, you'd have got up and said, I'm going to go here now. So it's going to allow people to be able to do that without the worry. And also, if you can take a lens and zoom out a tiny bit, this awakening's removing all evil. Yes. Like the last however many years has also been a test for humanity. And it's almost like we've taken the evil out of the top, and all the bad stuff now is being done by good souled people that have been corrupted. So we're going to give them a few years to see, will they come round to what they're doing is wrong,
yes,
which a lot of people have done.
Yes.
Or are they going to still get caught up in that world of power, money, greed, and you're going to get punished. So these mass arrests are not just the names that we want to see. They would, in my humble opinion, they would have been taken out. The mass arrests will now be like the drug gangs, the groomers, the politicians. It could be the neighbour in your apartment, like literally stealing from everyone. You never know.
Doctors, people who have, misled and caused harm. There's one thing, and that's the law of the land, the law of God, divine law. What is it? Do no harm. All these things about getting a driving, ticket and all that, that's not criminal. None of that is, right? None of that. The only thing is to do no harm. And I'd say do no harm to others, to any life. Do no harm to yourself as well. Self-sabotage is harmful. You know what I mean? So, it's the same, isn't it? So that's all it is. Just do no harm. It's a simple way to live.
I was going to say, if you break down the word law, land, air, water, we're water, we are of the land, and the air is the breathe and the spirit within us. So if you simplify it, we are law. That is so simple. If you know, and again, that word know, you haven't done anything wrong, you haven't caused any loss, and you're not getting angry, disturbing the peer. Whatever anyone else throws at you, it's like, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm good. And again, the world is going to get rid of that corruption. That if something did happen, which was a crime, and we went to court, we would never worry about getting deceived or saying the right thing. You just say your truth, and you're protected. And it's so hard to imagine because the world is so corrupted. So to think, that's never going to happen, or a big one that you might have heard as well, then not everyone's going to wake up, or no one's going to. No, you don't have trust and faith in humanity. When you show people, they're not going to wake up to the evil, and because they don't want to, like, that's scary. But if you just presented with them, like, just pull the curtain away and look at over there, you're going to run and jump and do whatever you can to get into that. So
yes,
everyone
that new life, that beautiful new life. Yeah, turn away from that and go in. That's so true. The people are just. We have to save as many as possible. It's so important to let people see what they've done and to repent. And to realize, that, because sometimes they get, if they're caught up in everything, and they might not even realize that what they were doing was wrong, right? So you can't really condemn someone that has been brainwashed, programmed to do something like give the jab or whatever, because they thought they were doing no harm.
And that's such an important part of it. So their punishment will be waking up. That will be their punishment. It's like,
that's enough.
Just like you said,
what have I done?
Yeah, they are good people. And when I said about that test, we're all being monitored by our phones, by our email and stuff as well. So imagine now then. So let's say that you're an investigator and I'm now going around the vaccination centres and like there's a crime being committed. And I've now served a notice and I've gone in and I've said, look, you're committing a crime, I've given evidence, and they're not listening to me. They've gone 3 times. I now reported that as a crime. So what we're seeing with the public eye, the police are not doing anything. Yeah, they are. They're being controlled too. They're policy officers, but people above them are watching because, again, we need trusted people going forward that we can rely on in this. So what will happen is, let's say that there is a lovely woman that is just doing the job and she's doing the vaccine. Oh, you anti-vaxxers, and there's these cult outside, like they brainwash, but they'll check all the correspondence. I know this woman's literally just doing her job. Whereas you'll have a doctor, which I've seen videos on. Oh, we know what we're doing is bad, but I'm getting paid. My kids won't have it. Like
that's wrong, isn't it?
That's all and it's all recorded. That is a crime against humanity, and you will be punished because there's different levels to it. We've gone in, we've served notices, we've reported it, we've now given the final warning, and now it was kind of like the final test. Are they going to wake up to all this, or are they going to continue doing it?
That's right.
With one intention to make money.
Yeah.
So yeah, oncology, that's another area that I spent a lot of time in the work that I did with people with cancers. Like if it should be called, instead of big pharma, it should be called big cancer. Wait till you see
it's terrible.
All those get taken out because it's just awful.
We can cure ourselves so easily. With Mother Nature, there's a cure in Mother Nature for every disease and ailment and illness, you know. And we used to do that for 1,000 years. We've cured ourselves like that.
I'm gonna pull you off on the word cure, Joanne, because I love my words.
Yeah, go on then.
The original word of cure means to pre-cure, which is to preserve. So when we say the word cure, you're actually preserving the illness. So what do you do to your meats? You preserve your meats. You cure them. You cure your flowers. So it's a deceptive word, which I'd encourage people when we're looking for, you call it healing or recovery. But be careful using the word cure because from a vibrational standpoint, it's to preserve.
But to make it stay. So which is what Big Pharma does, dishing out all of the pills. You know, they want you to come back for the rest of your life for their medication. You know, I mean, it's really terrible what they've done. It's so bad. But as we move through, you know, this, I mean, everyone's like, oh, it's going to take 1,000 years. We've got 1,000 years of evil. I'm like, if you believe that, then it shall be for you because we are co-creators. We are made in the image of God, and God is a creator. The goddess is the creatrix, you know, and we together, our co-creation, together, our collective consciousness creates the worldview. But what they've done is they have perpetuated their programming and all of their, you know, brainwashing on us. Because they can't create, they don't have that beautiful light, that beautiful attached to God, the creator. They don't have that. So, because they've sold their soul, you know. So, and then we can create together, that, you know, beautiful new earth that is coming in. But it's going to take a while because every single system has to change. Every single system, school, education, food, politics, environment, everything. We're talking, you know, and as you said, take politics, for instance. There's not going to be any more career politicians. There's not going to be any more money in it. You know, I see it as like a round table of people from all walks of life who are doing a volunteer job. They come in and everyone can change and they do so many hours a week. So everyone gets a turn and, you know, and it comes in like, no, there's no hierarchy. You know, we're just doing it for the good. And they have community. It's all about the communities coming together, and that's how I see, government changing like that. How do you see that?
Yeah, there won't even be a government, politicians, and even the word government, you break it down, govern means to control, and ment is the mind. Politics is all, and ticks is blood-sucking parasites. So they all are blood-sucking parasites. So
they are.
we won't have any of that. And like you said, the key word is community.
Yes.
And in the UK, if you search PHA, it's the People's Health Alliance, and it's going to be like the replacement for the NHS.
Wow.
It's all there. Like there's hubs all around the country now, all over. And what people haven't seen, and during this, because we get caught up in our own world, the community projects that have taken place in the UK they're mind blowing. Like there's a stand in the park all around the country every Sunday, 10 o'clock in the local community.
Yep.
And they've been going for like almost a year and a half now. So all these projects are in place. The farmers, they've been given funding for certain ones. We've got countries, it's called BRICS. So there's a partnership with 5 countries around the world.
Yeah, but please explain about BRICS to our audience. Explain it from the beginning and tell us what that means.
Yes, so there's loads of different components to this. So BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and China. I've missed that out. So yeah, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Good. So these are mega countries. If you look at the size of Brazil on its own, it's huge. So there's a lot of land there for many things. So one of the things with BRICS, which is kind of code, I believe it's going to be for the production of hemp, or the reintroduction of hemp. So hemp and the cannabis plant, and it's a brick, and hemp makes houses, makes batteries. It literally does everything.
Yeah.
Plus you're not cutting down your trees or anything. So one would be that. Also, if you look at South Africa / Zimbabwe, they produce so much of the food it could feed the whole world effectively with the amount of resources and land and agriculture they've set up there.
Wow.
So it's going to be a place, first of all, to distribute good quality fresh food around the world whilst we go through this turmoil. And then also the landmass there is so significant that when people haven't got a home and they're struggling, we're going to be able to create massive projects all over where people get a new chance of life in a new culture as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a lot there. And so people say, oh, nothing's happening. If you just look at that relationship and the countries that we just said, China, Russia, Brazil, they're all working with Trump.
So they are, when Trump went round, they are the alliance. They're the countries really that are against, the deep state, against the corrupt ones, and they are fighting for freedom, for humanity, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're all gold. They're all going gold backed as well. So we'll see the real currency will be, first of all, our currency, our energy, and the real wealth will be service. Because if we have abundance, then it's going to be how can we help humanity? And then the introduction of gold again with the precious metals. Every human on this plane, we are gold. If you take the L out of gold, we are the God. So we're going to get back the precious metals of what we truly are. And then all of a sudden, once we all have abundance, then the concept of money won't be. It will be barter. It will be trade of services. It will be contributing, or it will be just enjoying your life and switching off for a part and having a little break and really getting back to know who you are. Yes.
And it will be, seeking a spiritual fulfillment and following your passion, doing what you would love to do in your dreams, instead of being a 9-to-5 office job, because there won't be any office jobs anymore, because that's all in their statues and commerce, So we will be going back to natural ways of living, to community living, one with Mother Nature, one with the earth, coming together with our brothers and sisters all around the world. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal and what do you mean, the Nazara and Jazara? There's been saying that, they've taken a lot of the money, the alliance have taken, of the corrupt, and that will be the thing that goes out and gets us through this. It's like a transition. It's like a birth. We're in a birthing process. It's going to be painful. There's going to be all that darkness coming out, and it's the pain part, isn't it, that we've got to go through maybe for a couple of years until it turns around, right? And then you can see it turning around, but we're going to go through it for a while, So this desire, how's that going to come out to help the people? I believe that this Jazara and Nazara, there will not be 30,000 children dying of starvation a day on this planet.
Yeah, and these are going to be the big, I call them soul slaps. We're going to be getting loads of them. How anyone can die of starvation in this world on its own, first of all, is a joke. How we've let it get to that as well. And I didn't realise there was... in the UK, when I started connecting with all these communities, there was a lady in Dorset who had her own little mini farm, and she was approached and said, "You cannot now grow here anymore. We're going to tax you on everything if you're going to do it, or we'll stop." So people have the land to do it all, but they were stopped the whole time. It's like, really, you can imagine if we come together. And I know that they've been talking about stuff like this. You've got a lot of elderly people that have got gardens, but because they're elderly now, they don't really get to service their gardens. The gardens can grow a mess. Imagine projects where we can go in and we offer company, but we also use the gardens now to create food that then gets passed back through the people maybe that don't have the benefits of being able to create it. Or, and again, you create cycles, and everyone wins at that point. We keep the elders, which are so important for the new generation coming in. And the big thing that's been corrupted was the entrance on birth into our world, like the way it's done, the fear, the doubt that the women will have, like, should I do this?
Laying down,
what should I do next?
laying down on a bed in a medical awful place,
legs up.
instead of crouching. I've had 4 children, and 3 of them, I was on my crouching stool. The best way to ever give birth, I'll tell you that now. Like they do in India, the women hold on to the trees. So silly. But
and we would be taught as that's crazy. So you got the intro to the world, fear, pain. It's a horrible experience when it could be labeled, no, you've just created this amazing creation just there.
Yeah. That's right. It should be the most empowering experience ever for a woman. It's like primal, the releasing of the pain through the breath and through the voice and the scream. It's primal, it's, there shouldn't be any intervention at all. Only natural herbs and natural environments and,
none at all. And then And then on the other side as well is the death. Death is hidden from us. We're not understood death. We're conditioned to fear death, like through the cartoons and Bambi dying. Like, I was crying as a kid.
It's terrible.
I even cried watching the Gremlins because the fuzzy one died. So we fear death. We pump all our elders with all these drugs. So they're not actually being. They're on alert when really the dying process is being, and it's the connection. So if you think of soul, mind, body, and we always say it's the mind that gets in the way. If you look at the relationship between birth, parents, and grandparents, the parents are the mind. So the parents get out the way, the energy from the kids and the energy from the wisdom is transferred. Kids don't understand words. So when you think your mum and dad who are getting on a bit now are useless and you want to stick them in a home, no, they're priceless.
They are.
That energy is the transfer. So hug your parents, hold
Honestly,
your parents, get your
exactly.
kids, or
It's so true. I used to look after old ladies. I used to go around them and befriend them, and the conversations over cups of tea. I used to look after them and everything, telling us about the war and everything and how the couple of roads down, the whole road went, when it got bombed. And I mean, all of these, it's just, they are a wealth of, in knowledge and wisdom. And what do? We just banish it all. But you know what? That's why we cannot live in these little boxes any longer. 2.4 children, husband, wife, 2.4 children, husband. That's not how we should be living. We should be living in communities, in tribes where the elders bring up the children as well as, the mums and dads. They have input. When I lived in Italy, me and my mum and dad and my children, we all lived together, and it was a nanny and granddad. They used to be brought up by them as well, which is most of the way Italians live, and that's so important. It really is. And the fear of death is one of the biggest things that stops us from living, from truly living. I have no fear. I know that it's the greatest passage, and it's the greatest. My whole life, he's getting me ready for the moment of death. And in that moment of death, you've got to be, as you said, you've got to be in this moment, because when we pass over, what we think and what we feel is instant manifestation over in the spiritual world, heaven, right? Yeah. So you've got to be on it. But most people will create a hell, right? Because that's what they've been taught, or the fear of it. The fear makes them create that. Or we can create our own heaven. And then once that happens, then we go into the all, into the one, and then we go on to higher forms of existence that will come back and help humanity again. It's just never ending, and it's an involvement, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it could sound crazy for people. However, the best way to, for me, death is meditation. When you go into that meditative state, it's just euphoric. But you're aware of it. When you're asleep, and people are like, I always want to be in control of my life. But when you're asleep, where are you? You just disappear for however many hours, and then you wake up again. So death for me is this amazing experience. You wake up, and now I'm here. And there's, I think it was from Confirmations of God, which is a great analogy.
Brilliant.
So you come from nowhere, you split nowhere in half, and you're now here. And then you go back to nowhere again.
Do you know what? I watched the Conversations with God movie again, right? I've read all of them. And my daughters have about 6 times, the whole 6 books, whatever. And the movie made me cry. It's so beautiful, the way that, and it's like our life. Every one of us goes through such them challenges, and to rise up, to always rise up. This is the thing, to never give up. This is why I love Trump. Never give up, never give in. Always rise up when you come down, and to persevere, and you will, manifest, and for me, all of that is just living out your karma, right? Because we've accumulated so much karmic debt through all of our, we've been murderers, we've been rapists, we've been everything, and that's an accumulation, isn't it, of the karma. So all suffering is good, because it's paying off your karmic debt, and it's building virtue.
Mm-hmm. And the way that so these are all words as well. So suffering, if you attach that to sadness, and then go and just sit in the sadness, and it's the sadness that normally we stop ourselves from doing. Like, we apologize when we cry in public, but yet we're sad. But if we're laughing in public, you don't say, oh, sorry for laughing. So that yin and yang, you have to have that balance. So the sadness is, unfortunately, the label of sadness, which is the soul, is then attached with guilt, worry, blame, anger, frustration, and we get caught up in that. However, if you can let go of all those other ones and just let it be, like you said earlier, just be, sit in that sadness, and that for me is where all the strength is built from. It's like a flush, it's a cleanse, but there's no mind with the attachments and the analysing of it. It's just, it's come out of me. And if you can trust in your body, which if you really think about it or really feel about it, your body keeps you alive every second of every day. It'll find a beat regardless. If you're asleep, it'll find your breath. You cut yourself, it magically fixes you. You break a bone, hey presto, like your body loves you.
Yeah, we are magic, aren't we?
So and if you know that your body loves you, when you get sick, just know that's your body just getting rid of the crap out of your thing. It's not your body's fault. It's not going, oh, my body's hurting. No, your body's overworking now to make you feel as you should be, love.
Yes.
And so it's the give and receive from your body too.
Yeah. It's very important. Having a cold, if the flu is, you're just getting rid of the gunk inside of you. It's your body's detox system. It's very important. It's a natural process. Don't go and get a jab to stop that, because you're stopping your natural detox process. Yeah. It's like, it's the way nature's built us, it gets rid of all the mucus, cleans out all the lungs, and it's really important so that you're clean afterwards.
It's almost like treat yourself as a tree. It will shed. It will get rid of its bark at certain points when it's not ready. It let go of its leaves that it's not serving them anymore. What happens to it? It rebuilds and flourishes again. Like you become a tree, you become a plant, you become the earth, the land, air, and water again. And all of a sudden, it makes sense. So you can accept we have to go through this process all the time of rebuild, grow all the time.
Yeah.
But that's not for us. So again, the one thing that we can do right now, and it comes back to that spiritual growth that we were talking about earlier, meditation, good nutrition, keep your soul lifted at the moment, keep that light shining, because you're going to be needed more than anything once this goes off. I'm telling you, and you don't need to phone them up, go, see, I told you, they're going to be coming to you.
Yeah. And use your intuition. It's like when you watch something, feel how that resonates with your heart. It's always going to resonate. If it makes you feel, if it's the truth, it's going to resonate. Do you know what I mean? And, and that's what it is, using your intuition with people, with places, with watching all the stuff on the media, turn off and go within, turn off everything and just have that peace and just raise that energy up and just go into that beautiful light in that and connect, just connect with your beautiful higher self, which is the divine light that's inside of us all, which is the God flame, which is inside of us all, and that's when we get all of the divine intelligence, we get raised up. That's raising up, ascension, isn't it?
So if you think you are the gods as one, so soul, and then you've got this thing called mind, which is ego, soul, and then the body is just listening to the mind, become the soul within your body. So it's almost like that soul rises up, and then it becomes the sun, and that's your son, the son of God. And that's the way that I like to look at it. Every day now, I need my soul to rise throughout me.
Yeah.
And then higher self, and it raises high. The opposite of high is low.
That's
so
right.
I like using the analogy, my soul is my son.
Yes. And Jesus Christ consciousness within us is the S-O-N. Jesus was the S-O-N, the Son of God. That's not, the S-U-N, wasn't it? The S-U-N, the Son, raising up your own inner son, Christ consciousness. Beautiful.
That's it. And the word soul in Spanish is son. So your soul, your son. So it's all there for us. And I think the clever part of this is that they had to create a person called Jesus because we like to follow someone who is showing the way. And there is a person that because if we were told from the start, the Christ is within you, we doubt ourselves on every day. We would have just let that go straight away. So it's almost like we've had to follow a whole story, knowing that there are people that showed us the way, like Jesus Christ. He had the Christ consciousness, but so did Buddha, and so did many other people around this world. And it's to almost say, look, the message is we can all do that. So bring it out within you. And you change, again, the N on Christian to M, and it's the Christ I am instead of Christian. Christ I am.
And that's the chrism oil raising up, which is the Kundalini. It's all about the words. Wow. Absolutely brilliant. So we're all going to be waiting now. We're all going to be waiting now for the World Cup. So I just want to say, Harry, thank you for being on the Great Awakening show again. And we'll have another one soon. Yeah. Thank you for all of your wisdom and truth.
Thank you for having me.
Oh.